devastating hurricanes, unprecedented heat waves, catastrophic flooding. An upward trend of extreme weather and climate events is leading to significant losses across the globe. In the fight against climate change, no one is a bystander. China has pledged to peak the nation's CO2 emissions before 2030 and achieve carbon neutrality by 2060. To shed light on the country's journey towards sustainable development, our reporters traveled across China to capture the stories of individuals, enterprises, and public institutions who are striving to make a difference. As COP29, the UN Climate Change Conference, convenes from November the 11th to the 22nd in Azerbaijan, CGTN Radio brings you a special series, Greener China, A Journey to 2060. Join us on your favorite podcast platforms to witness Chinese people's awareness, actions, and the challenges we face as the country journeys into a greener future.
现在到夏天有500-600人。
冬天呢？
冬天也就是2-300。
The population of Shitanjing has dropped to the hundreds from 130,000 in the 1990s.
The town of Shitanjing, which means coil well, is located on the northern part of Helan Mountains in northwest China's Ningxia-Hui Autonomous Region. Hello, I'm Yang Yang. Welcome to Climate Watch. Ecosystem supports all life on Earth. A healthy ecosystem acts as a natural carbon sink, with forests, wetlands, and marine habitats capturing and storing carbon dioxide in biomass, soil, and sediment. Experts emphasize the crucial role of water in this process, so we went to water-starved northwest China in August to get a snapshot of the conditions regarding ecological restoration in the country. As we entered the town in the afternoon, the first thing we noticed was rows of two-story terraced houses, with rusty window frames and grass sprouting from the roofs. Most of them seem abandoned. Further along, we came across shops, video theaters, and a barber shop, all looking like they're from the time of my childhood 30 years ago. This area used to be one of China's most important coal fields.
对呀。这个学校，这是个中学，而且是。这是我们有2所中学。
62-year-old Ge Yihong was born here after her parents moved to the place in the 1960s when coal mines mushroomed on a large scale.
咱们90几年的时候，咱们这个石炭井啊，就号称的是小香港。
With the development of coal mines, the town became so popular in the 1990s that it was known as Little Hong Kong. You could buy anything you want here. People were rich, and many relatives came to join them for better living.
This prosperity, however, also came with environmental issues.
那以前你根本来不了这个地方，你来这地方风一那全都是乌烟瘴气，你就是穿件。
In the past, the air was thick with pollution. As soon as you arrived, your clothes would be covered in dust, as if you'd just come out of a coal mine.
以前全是洗煤厂、储煤厂，就是小的时候记得来的时候就是一片黑，一片黑。
Coal washeries were scattered almost everywhere. The town used to have only 2 colors, black and brown. Black from the coal and brown from the tailing rocks.
The sky would turn black whenever a sandstorm hits.
Did people have any sense of ecological protection?
没有，好像我们来了以后就是这样的。
No, it seems we got accustomed to the rocks and mountains. We paid little attention to the surrounding ecology.
China has undergone rapid economic growth since its opening up over 4 decades ago. In recent years, the country has greatly enhanced its focus on environmental protection. In 2016, the Chinese government launched the Shanshui Initiative, a plan to restore 10 million hectares of natural landscapes, ranging from mountains to coastal estuaries, through 75 large-scale restoration projects by 2030. In the same year, China initiated its regular nationwide patrol on environmental protection. It was around the same time that Ningxia began regulating mining activities along the Helan Mountains. The local people recollected.
Shitanjing began to close the mines in 2015.
All mines without legal procedures were closed.
It was a tough job as it affected the interests of many miners.
Many were reluctant to leave the town. Some cried. Shitanjing gradually lost its prosperity.
They told me they got compensation from the government.
The workers were dispatched to mines in other places in Ningxia.
或者是煤矿停了以后，他们反而参与到这个治理当中来了。
Some transferred to ecological protection related posts like afforestation.
Yu Yang from the local Department of Natural Resources added that Ningxia has been exploring the development of other industries.
We are expanding grape cultivation and wine production along the Helan Mountains. Tourism is also promoted in the region.
Hu Rei is a researcher at Northwest Institute of Eco-Environment and Resources under the Chinese Academy of Sciences.
In recent years, the country has expanded efforts to raise public awareness of ecological and environmental protection.
An awful environment is bad for your health.
The community holds events on environment days. We didn't do garbage sorting in the past. Now it's different.
Living in a good environment makes you happy.
The local enterprises, while managing the cost in every possible aspect, also agree that their investments in ecology are worthwhile. Yuan Hui used to run a gravel pit. Now he's the owner of Yuanshi Vineyard, a private winemaking company.
When people make ends meet, they start seeking more spiritual fulfillment. It would be odd if humans were the only ones living on Earth. It's sweet to hear birds chirping, right?
Yue Shihui is from the state-owned Meihuajing coal mine in northeast Ningxia.
We doubted our efforts in environmental restoration at first because it was very costly. But now we find it encouraging to see the area transformed into a green space. Staff can relax here after work and more wildlife has been returning.
Departments dedicated to environmental protection have been established not only in government institutions nationwide, but also in enterprises, particularly in state-owned companies.
There were a handful of people who initially didn't understand the move. They eventually shifted their mindsets after witnessing significant improvements in their living environment.
I was one of those miners. Now I work in vegetation restoration.
Those seniors who used to work in Shitanjing return here often, and they would marvel at the improvements.
As one of the few natives, Ge Yihong often works as a volunteer tour guide in her spare time. She also grows vegetables and shares the produce with tourists.
The local ecology is turning much better. It was impossible to grow veggies in the past.
Shitanjing, once known as Little Hong Kong, is transforming into a filming location, with few visitors around when we visited during the summer break. Currently, its population is around 300, with daily visitors peaking at about 3,000.
I hope our town will recover its prosperity in the near future.
While I'm telling the story of a mining town in northwest China, I must point out that ecological restoration is not only for mining areas. Hooray, the ecological expert, told us that it refers to the recovering process of any ecosystem that's been damaged.
There are also other factors to consider, such as water pollution and land degradation.
This reminds me of herders on degraded grassland on Qinghai Xizang Plateau when we visited them back in 2021.
My grassland couldn't fill the stomachs of my yaks and sheep anymore.
When we revisited them again in April this year, those herders were working closely with the government to restore their grassland. But Hooray pointed out that many people's understanding of ecological restoration is still limited.
We should keep planting trees, one generation after another.
Human intervention can't restore damaged ecosystems. It's like how medicine does little to cure a common cold compared to natural recovery.
我们一般来讲就是让它恢复它的生态功能。
The aim is to restore the ecosystem's natural functions and get its systems cycling independently. In simple terms, for example, water should be retained for moisture. The natural purification functions of the soil should be restored.
Over the past century, China's approach to ecological restoration has evolved from tackling specific environment issues to fostering healthy ecosystems with a greater emphasis on biodiversity and ecosystem integrity. However, to restore an independent and healthy ecosystem is easier said than done.
Our efforts often focus on large-scale greening projects, and success is measured more by investment scales rather than by the integrity of an ecological system.
Stay tuned for our next episode on ecological restoration, China's push for ecological restoration, where we'll explore the efforts made by the country in this regard.